We are here at Multicon in Los Angeles, and I am joined, of course, by the infamous Xander Tabler, and X is in fact going to give it to you. Xander, you're in LA. This is great. Thank you for coming out to my neck of the woods.
Yeah, thank you for having us in the neighborhood. This is a super exciting weekend. I know this is something that we heard about recently, and wildfire relief is something that we thought, hey, this is the perfect opportunity to go out to LA and help raise some money and chat with the local community. So it's been a really fun experience today, and I'm glad that we were able to turn it around and be a part of this.
Absolutely, and wildfire relief is definitely what's needed right now. So you guys being a part of that just goes to show how dedicated you are to the community, and we really appreciate that. Okay, so we got to talk about how far things have come since the last time we saw each other. I saw you at Gen Con about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, you were really in the process of selling the game to people who weren't aware of it, didn't know what it was, didn't know what it was going to be, things like that. So now here we are, about to release set 4. How has your role changed with a game now that has a year of selling itself to the community?
Yeah, it's been really exciting and really, really fun to kind of transition from that, hey, we need you to know what this game is, to having a very dedicated group of fans who know what the game is, are working like I was in the local community to get people on board with it and jump into this, but also still, bringing new players into this. We've got our foundation year under us, and it feels really good to have that. It's been such a cool thing seeing everybody finally having the cards back in hand, especially after I returned back to PAX Unplugged and I saw a bunch of people that ran through the demos every day, and then this year they're like, hey, I remember you, here's the decks I've built now, we're 3 sets in, and it was a really cool experience to see that. And so my role has definitely transitioned a little bit more to, okay, let's maintain and keep the community that we have happy and heard and listened to, but also still reaching out to new players and forming those new communities out there and giving people resources to do that themselves too, which is cool.
FFG has been all about the community ever since you've been there, but also since Star Wars Unlimited has been on the scene.
Yeah.
Your group specifically has been really celebrated for how you listen to the community, how you approach the player base.
Yeah.
Why has that been such an important focus for you as you are navigating not just the community, but also a game that you want to succeed?
Yeah, I think the community coming first was a big idea that's brought by the studio and those above us, and everyone as a whole is we need these players to know that we are bought into this game, we are feeling this is the game for us, and this is the game for you, and we want to make sure that this is the experience that you all want. And so having somebody who's dedicated job, as well as other people who do it for part of their jobs. I know Tyler and other people on the team are always online, hearing what people are saying and being a part of it as well. But making sure that was at the forefront of what we were doing was really important after past games that we've had, and also we've all been players in other games, and we know that is what makes a real thriving community, is being heard, being listened to, concerns brought up and addressed, as well as some of those things, action taken when there is something that's crossed a line or gone in a direction that players don't want to see. And so it's been really, really fun to be a part of this amazing team doing some of the best work I've ever seen in a trading card game as a player of them for a long time, and get to be a part of it in such an exciting way.
And you mentioned actions taken, so let's hone in on that just for a second, because at the end of the day, you guys have to create a game that you feel is good and you feel meets the standards of what you're trying to achieve. But you've also shown a willingness to listen to the player base when it comes to things like organized play, when it comes to things like gameplay experience.
Yeah.
So how do you balance those two things with a game that you have a vision for, but with a player base that you want to also be satisfied?
Yeah, that is a great question. I will have to ask Danny that at some point. I think that'd be a really good one. But I think our design team and all the team and leadership have a very clear and specific vision of what they want this game to be and what they want players to be getting out of it. And I think it's something that they're balancing the idea of, when we hear that this is not meeting that expectation, we have to go back and address and say, okay, what's the actual problem here? What is the piece that we can switch? What are the levers we can pull on our end, quickly, or for events down the road and different pieces that we know are going to be coming, to make sure that meets that experience that we want. But we also have just a very clear vision. I'm speaking directly about Danny and Jim as great examples of this, of what they want this experience to be and what they want this game to be. And I think that's really a great guiding light for everybody. We know where we're going, and so it's easy to make adjustments as we go to make sure that we get there.
Well, speaking as part of that player base, we've been really excited to see all of the things and the communication that has come from your team, and excited for that to continue.
For sure.
But let's talk about Jump To Lightspeed, because we are on the verge of set 4 releasing. Really exciting. You're not just obviously the community manager for Fantasy Flight Games, you're also a player.
For sure.
You've been sitting here playing games all day. What are you most excited about for people to see and for yourself to be playing when Jump to Lightspeed hits the shelves?
Oh my gosh. Most excited for players to be able to add these pilots to their ships and do all the cool things that you want to do in a Star Wars game, which is, fly starships with really cool smugglers and other pilots out there. I'm so excited for the players to get to finally do that. Throwing Poe in Black One or Han on the Millennium Falcon is just such a fun and thematic experience for players, and I know it's just gonna be something that people really, really vibe with. Personally, I'm excited for another Thrawn leader. I have not taken apart my first Thrawn deck from Spark Rebellion. It's in my Twin Suns deck. It's my favorite Twin Suns deck still. And I'm so excited to have another Thrawn to bring to the table, especially one that works with a mechanic that I find really interesting, is when defeated, because I love a game where I feel like things are going my way, even when they're not, because, hey, you're getting rid of my guys, but good things are happening to me.
Sure.
Or you're not getting rid of my guys, and I'm doing damage to base, and my game plan is still rolling, and it just is such a fun way to play. And so I'm dying to play him more. I've already got my deck list built.
Wow.
I'm just waiting for the cards to get here so I can crack the packs and start building.
Amazing, amazing. Gotta love Thrawn. I always have. I always share that with you, which is great, along with our alumnus, which is great.
Yes.
But you mentioned piloting, and piloting is one that I'm really interested in, because we have seen the player base, at least in the competitive environment, hesitate a little bit to embrace some of these new mechanics like capture and bounties and smuggle, and then again, exploit and coordinate when set 3 dropped. So how confident are you that piloting is going to take off in a way that some of these other mechanics previously haven't?
Yeah, I think a lot of the previous mechanics fit in very specific decks looking to do a specific thing. I think piloting is one that we will see that still build. You got the wedge antilles and things like that. And I think the support in this set for those new mechanics is really great. And I think we can already see that with players' reactions to them and seeing the value across those things. Some of the flexibility in the set is really, really top notch. And I think we're doing some really cool things that I think MJ and Jeremy really knocked out of the park with some of the leaders that don't strictly follow the normal epic action cycle and how you deploy them, and things like Poe and Trench. And so I think it's gonna be a really fun set filled with a lot of experimentation for players. And I think there's a lot of value in cards now, especially 1 year in, and the card pool's grown so much that I think the piloting just adds on top of that, because all those starfighters that you really liked before get even better if you can throw a pilot on them right away, and they're really cool upgrades, and just not having to be forced to play them as an upgrade is really nice on the deck building side.
So with piloting and with all these cards in the pool comes some unique combos and cool things that are going to be enabled with Jump to Lightspeed. Is there a card or like a card combo that you've seen come as a result of set 4 that you're really excited to get on the table?
My top one that I'm excited for, and I'm ruining it here because everybody's gonna know I'm gonna do this at events in the future, but I tried to do it the other day with my Thrawn deck on stream, but I love stealing super laser techs with no glory on the results. Probably my favorite interaction of all time is just, if you happen to ramp first, and then if they don't have a way to get rid of their super laser tech themselves right away, which happens a lot in a lot of decks, it's just so fun to steal ramp and basically just ramp twice and stop your opponent from doing it. What a fun interaction for me. But I'm not sure they're going to enjoy it as much, but I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that.
Well, especially if the whole point of your deck is to defeat things.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else because all your units are defeated, they don't have anything to run into.
Yep, exactly. I'm feeling great. I'm 2 resources ahead. The Chimera's coming out. I'm going to start doubling things soon. It's going to be a wonderful time for me.
You heard it here from Xander. Super laser tech is dead on arrival. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no, only when I hit 5 resources, then it's gone.
Exactly. The other thing that's really exciting about Jump to Lightspeed releasing here in just a couple weeks is obviously the addition of Carbonite boosters.
Oh, yeah.
And that's something that the community is really amped about, but also really unsure about. Set 4, 1 year in, why was now the time to release Carbonite boosters and this collector-focused product into the community?
That is a great question. So I know that we've talked a lot, from May 2023 when they first announced the game, all the way through last year, of how that was our foundational year. We're going to keep the amount of products and types of products very simplified, very straightforward. It's an easy way to look at the game and go, okay, these are the things that I need to grab. These are what I can get off the shelf. Perfect. I'm in. I can move on and start buying packs and really get in either as a player or collector, and things were very, very easy to understand. Now being a year in, players, it feels like, are ready to jump at different things that are going on. We saw that with like convention exclusive and different pieces of that, where players want to go, okay, well, if I'm a collector, this is what I want to see. I want to have this thing. And really, besides showcases in our year 1 in the convention exclusive, we didn't have something that spoke directly to collectors, which is a big part of our C3OP. We have the casual players, the competitive players, and we want to support the collectors. How do we support collectors? By giving them cool things that they can collect and look for. And so Prestige is another, iteration of that. And so with those cards in there, as well as just a way to make sure that you're getting those types of cards that you're looking for. If you're somebody who's like, I want to bling out my Poe Dameron deck, great. Here's an easy way to do that without having to go through all the rest of it. And it was a cool way for us to add something towards a very specific group of players, which is, again, something that we're kind of doing with Spotlight decks is, instead of the 2-player starters, which is a little more entry level, there's a way for someone who's, entry level but knows how to play a card game and wants to jump in something with a little more meat on the bones there and get into competitive or semi-competitive play and some of the higher levels of casual play. There you go. This is the product aimed directly to you to be able to jump in, which is cool.
Spotlight decks look really fun. Prestige cards look amazing. Definitely worth the chase.
Yeah.
We've only seen a couple Prestige cards so far. So can you tell us which one of the ones we haven't seen is your favorite that you're the most excited for us to see?
Oh gosh. Oh man. I think the Chimera is really cool. As we know, that's gonna be,
obviously
the unique ships from the set and vehicles. Chimera is great. Houndstooth is one that I love. The art piece. It was the first one that came to mind actually, besides Chimera. Right when you asked, I was like, Houndstooth is great, and I think it's something different than what players might be expecting with it, and I think the art style is some of my favorite that we see in the game.
Amazing. 2025 is really shaping up to be the year of Star Wars Unlimited. You have Set 4 releasing after a really successful year of Sets 1 through 3. You now have Carbonite boosters coming into the forefront, and not only that, but now Organized Play is getting some incredible new events for people to attend, sectors, regionals, and of course, the Galactic Championship. So you guys are putting on your first Galactic Championship at the Venetian in Las Vegas in July. I know this is something that you're heavily involved in. What does success look like for you when putting on this first Galactic Championship that anybody can attend?
For me personally, I will feel very successful if the players leave there feeling like they got an experience that not only was the one that they went in there looking for, whether if they're a competitive player, they want to play in the main event. If they're a casual player, they just want to jam side events. I'm hoping that players get to experiment with something new while they're there, whether that's engaging in a new side of the community, the collector side, or if you're a casual player, maybe dipping into the competitive side a little bit more. I hope it is just I would judge as a success if everybody gets to try something new and as well as build a community worldwide. That is what I would love to see out of this event. And I think it's the perfect opportunity as we wrap up basically a year and a half of the game so far. We'll be 5 sets in. Legends of the Force will be pretty new by that point. From my side, that's what it looks like, but I know a lot of our team members have different ways that they're gonna be judging the success of what this Galactics looks like. And I can't wait till people see, all the cool things that are they're to experience, is all the cool swag they get to go home with, which is also very cool.
We gotta talk about the swag, because already you guys have revealed that Luke Invader showcases are gonna be on the prize wall.
Yeah.
If that's the tip of the iceberg, the prize wall sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I remember the prize walls from Destiny Worlds back in 2019, and that was some of the best time I've ever had playing the game. Prize walls are awesome.
Yeah.
But you're also here to put on a main event tournament to determine a world champion.
Of course.
Right? So how do you incentivize, maybe not incentivize, but how do you ensure that players are going to want to do both? Players are going to want to grind side events for the prize wall, and then other players aren't going to feel left out while they're playing in the main event.
Yeah. Well, I think a really easy part of this is, providing prize wall tickets to those playing in the main event is one way to do that.
Amazing.
As well as I think the main event prizing we really worked hard on it this year, trying to make sure that it felt, there was goals and achievables throughout the day. And I think as we release more about the structure and how that'll go, people will see that from the main event side, where they see, okay, here's the next thing that I need to reach throughout the day on all 3 days of the event, because it is a 3-day tournament. So just saying, I need to be the #1 in the Galactic Championship, maybe not is not feasible for every player, but at least having something that you can reach for is a really cool part of it. And from the side event side, I think people are going to be blown away from the prize wall on that side of things. But I think they're also going to be able to look at the main event and go, wow, maybe if I really put some work in, put some hours in this next year, maybe I can compete and reach that next level and see that thing that I see in the main event only. And I think there's gonna be some cool things from both sides. And I think also we're gearing it up for plenty of trading and being a part of that community and getting to look for those things that you want if you're on opposite sides of that. And I think it's a really cool opportunity for players to get to meet new people and engage in something that they might not get to do all the time, which is consistently trade.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Any other things that players who are going to any of these organized play events, sectors, regionals, galactics, anything else you want to make sure that they know as they prepare for these seasons?
Yeah, I would say my biggest one is, if you're a competitor, this is absolutely for you. You know that we're speaking directly to you.
Yeah.
And that's a big piece of this. But I also want to say that for casual players, I think these events are, specifically the Galactic Championship, but also sectors, regionals, this is more than just a main event. We have so many cool things to offer at all these different events across sectors, regionals, and galactics that I think there's a lot of opportunities for players who maybe aren't looking to play at the highest level of competitive play, but also just want to experience the game in a new way, try something new, grind some side events, and spend a weekend enjoying Star Wars Unlimited. I think that these events should speak directly to you as well, and you'll see that as we have more information coming out about it. And if you're a collector, there's always going to be cool things at all these events.
Absolutely.
So there's absolutely something there for you. And so we're definitely taking an approach of looking at it as a holistic experience for the C3 OP, program. This is not just, hey, we're putting tables and chairs. That's not the OP program we want to build. We want to build an OP program that thinks about how we cater this experience to everybody.
Amazing. Well, I know I'm looking forward to it. I know a lot of you are looking forward to it. Tickets still available for the Galactic Championships in Las Vegas at the end of July. And if you want to donate to Los Angeles Wildfire Relief, you can start at United Way. Xander, really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it.